Good evening, and welcome to the first ever PC review for Retro Game On. It's about time. Readers of my blog may remember myself getting excited about PC reviews well over a year ago, but I finally integrated a suitable PC into my desktop setup, so now it's a lot easier to play. So how am I starting? How am I getting Retro Game On PC off to a huge retro related bang? Sonic R. Why do I do this to myself? I wouldn't be lying if I said I just randomly picked this off my shelf, but hey, can't be as bad as the cover makes it look. Alright. Sonic R was released on the PC in 1998, but the Sega Saturn version came out in 1997. It was the last Sonic game co-developed by Traveller's Tales and Sonic Team, so without further ado, let's see how they went. Sonic R is a racing game. Well, Sonic R is trying to be a racing game. Anyway, unless you play as Amy who's in a car for some reason, or Dr. Robotnik in his hovering thing, this is basically a foot race. On ice! I don't usually get into the gameplay mechanics this early into the review, but hot damn, 10 seconds into the first race and you'll be slipping and sliding all over the place. The controls are super slick, but not as in slick as in cool, but slick as in unfortunate oil spill. You may be confronted with a false sense of security from the get-go because the graphics are actually quite good, and I'll discuss this further down the road, but I really wish they had put more effort into the controls as it dampens the whole game. The whole charade is over quite quickly too. There are only a handful of tracks, and to beat this game you just need to come first in all of them, with just one character. I guess they wanted to increase the replayability by having you winning all the tracks of all the characters, but personally after the first round I wanted to immediately throw in the towel. The sad thing is, there are plenty of nice features thrown into Sonic R, so it's a shame that the terrible control mechanics ruin everything. There are coins on the racetrack that will unlock further sections when enough are collected, as well as plenty of other pickups strewn about like the expected Chaos Emerald. I for one am not into collectathons, but I know plenty of gamers are, so there may be some appeal in that corner. Believe it or not, this game, a racing game I must remind you, actually has a storyline. While not mentioned at all in-game, I found a readme file that explained everything, which I presume is also explained in the instruction booklet for the Saturn version. Sonic and Tails are taking a bit of a holiday when Tails noticed there's an advert for a World Grand Prix. Or World Grand Prix if you're a 10-year-old version of myself. Okay, 15-year-old version of myself. Anyway, Sonic isn't interested until he learns Robotnik is participating, and decides if it's good enough for old Eggman, it's good enough for himself. It's eventually revealed that Robotnik knows the location of some Chaos Emeralds, which he wants to use to enslave the world. You know, standard stuff. The Grand Prix is actually just there to trap and distract Sonic, so it's up to the whole gang to collect the emeralds and win the race and save the world until another sequel. Now I must stress, even though the controls of this game are utter bollocks, I actually found myself quite enjoying the level design. Yes, sometimes the corners are just too tight considering you're skating all over the place, and yes, it's very easy to get lost. But I actually didn't mind the second part. Exploring the levels trying to find all the secret routes and areas was actually quite a lot of fun. I wasn't really a fan of seeking out the emeralds while also trying to win the races because that requires a lot of trial and error, but otherwise it was fine. Apart from the water, which looks like it's simply an uncompleted part of the development, the graphics are actually quite reasonable. There's a lot of texture mapping going on, resulting in the environments being quite detailed. The only unfortunate part is that there are no graphic options dedicated to the PC. This is very much a Sega Saturn port. From footage I've watched online though, the graphics do seem a little bit spruced up, and the draw distance might even be a bit better, but for the most part, don't expect any major differences. Now, I really have to talk about the sound department. The sound effects are, well, terrible. The knock knock knock, which is supposed to pass off as the characters in motion, does not impress me in the slightest. But the music. Oh my god, the music. You've likely heard it in the background of this review so far, but let me just emphasize it for a moment. This soundtrack is so out there and unexpected that I've been caught completely off guard. I like it. I'm not sure if I'm maybe just a sick human being or what, but come on, this is fantastic. There's a fully fledged 90s pop album integrated into this game, and I think that's amazing. Yes, it's lame, and yes, it's basic musically, but for some reason, it just tickles me in all the right places. I understand why there's so much negative press about Sonic R. It's not a great game by any means. It is, however, a unique little sunflower, and for that, I give it respect. It's a shame the controls are so slippery because I really do feel that the developers were onto something when it came to the exploration aspect of the gameplay. If the controls were acceptable and the sound effects a bit more honed, I think this would have been a classic Sonic game for sure. But only if they kept in the music, of course. Hello retro gamers, and thank you so much for watching. Sorry there hasn't been any reviews as of late. I've been a bit shit with organising my spare time lately, but I hope that dark period of my life is finally coming to a close. I have, however, launched a new type of video on this channel called Retro News Fortnightly. In this new series I talk about all the news in the retro gaming world every 2 weeks. So far I only have 2 episodes up, with the first being a bit of a mess because I was really just starting out, and I was in a bit of a weird mood when I created the second episode, which is reflected in that video. I do want that series to grow though, along with all the regular content on Retro Game On, and I invite you to check them out and tell me what you think. I'm after any sort of feedback because I haven't really received any yet, so yeah. Anyway, thanks again so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.